And welcome back to the Born and Bred podcast. This is episode 9, the season finale of season 2. We are your hosts, Brendan Gallagher
and Maria Lynn. This episode is sponsored by the Robinson Grand Performing Arts Center. Visit therobinsongrand.com to check out all their upcoming events and have a lovely evening at the beautiful theater.
I can feel your lies, they're coming around. The further I get from you, the closer I get to who I am.
It is a great theater.
It is a great theater. I mean, every time we go for a meeting or for a Born and Bred, I feel so grateful to be in that space.
Well, and it's so cool because we had the opportunity, with our, and what we're going to be talking about today is kind of a 2024 recap. And as part of that, we obviously have the Born and Bred concert series that happens there. And I think one of my favorite things about that is giving artists the opportunity to be on this amazing stage and play this beautiful theater. And so many of them walk away, which is like, wow, getting to have that experience.
Just being on that stage is awe-inspiring.
Oh,
even when it's empty.
Yeah.
And you just see the empty seats and you're just looking up and
I was in there the
so
other
good.
day. It was just me and a couple other guys working on some promo stuff. And just hanging out in there and when you're in there by yourself, you really see like the immensity, the enormity of that space. I love it. So anyhow, check them out. We love them.
Do you know about ghost lights?
Yeah, ghost lights. That's a cool little thing that I did not know about until we really started hanging out there.
I didn't know about it until actually the most recent Born and Bred, and I saw it, and I think we were the first people there along with Evan, and I think I asked him something about it. I don't know what made me ask, but I asked him something about the light, and he explained that. Yeah, it's
a tradition that theaters have that it is to give the ghost light.
Yeah.
And it's just one light. It's one singular light that they plug in after every show.
And it's kind of old-timey looking.
Yeah, it's an old-timey, it's got this wire cage around it.
Yeah.
And
cool.
it just wheels out to the middle of the stage.
Yeah.
And that's...
I just think that's so cool. Like that's part of the lockup is like put the ghost light out.
Yeah,
Like,
and they do every night.
Such a
it's
theatrical
so cool.
thing, and the fact that it's part of like their technical shutdown, like it makes me smile.
Yeah, it's fun. So anyhow, if you've never seen a ghost light, go check that out. It's there. Anyhow,
Well, I don't know that they can. That's the thing. Like when I saw it, it was just kind of by happenstance because we were for the opening of the building.
I think normally it's just off to the side.
Is it?
So like if you're sitting on the left-hand side of the theater and you look over, you can see it.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
So anyhow, just a cool little thing.
Yeah.
2024 was a fantastic year.
It was a great year, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, when you think about what happened musically in this state and the things that we got to be involved in.
Yeah.
So 2024 kicked off with us going down to Raleigh Theater to watch our friends Alabaster Box.
Yeah, when was that?
It was like January, late January.
Was it? Or February, maybe?
Yeah, it was cold. I remember that. It was cold.
That was fun.
And we went down to watch them do the live recording of their album and hung out with them and interviewed them. And that was just a really cool experience.
Was that our first time meeting them?
Yeah, it was our first.
And we've been now we're like besties.
I know, right? Like...
My goodness, what a change a year can make on a person's life.
I'm tired of talking to them now. No, I love those guys. And honestly, that's been actually, I think, one of the joys for us is finding bands like that we've really connected with.
Great group of people.
They would be one. The Moonlight Twin is one. There have been a lot of bands that we've really just had the opportunity to network with and work with and have become friends with. Philip Bowen would fall in that category.
Well, and he was kind of the next highlight of 2024,
yeah,
I think.
He was our
Born and Bred
concert series with Grace Campbell and Adrian Michael.
Mm-hmm.
And
Philip. We had our expo that same day.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we had the expo.
Which feels so long ago right now, that expo. But, I mean, I guess it was coming up on a year ago.
And you talk about another great experience there was that the networking we did there.
That was a good day.
That's where we met Bray, who was a guest on our podcast recently.
What a difference a year makes.
Yeah, we had Bray and Zach Cord was there. Zach's been a friend of ours for a long time, though, even before we started all this.
And a lot of our musician friends kind of just came to hang out.
Yeah, it was just a good day.
It was definitely busier than I think we expected for our first one. We didn't really know what to expect. It was upstairs of the Robinson Grand, a little bit out of the way. So we just weren't really sure, but it was a very steady flow. People came in as soon as the doors opened. It was steady all day.
Yeah.
And people just had a great time. It was good.
Yeah, we also, what else did we do that time frame there. That was the start of the year. That got us into early spring there with that concert. And then summer we had the Shindig Music Festival, which we attended.
Poured buckets, but we still had a great time.
That day was a horrible day as far as
No, it was
weather
a
goes.
great
As far
day.
as weather goes.
Okay, as far as weather goes. But I will say I loved that by the end of the day, first of all, the music never stopped.
Nope.
Because everybody was covered.
Yep.
We had tents donated, which was awesome. The amphitheater is covered, obviously, so the bands were covered and everything. So the music never stops. And by the end of the evening, I remember just looking out, feeling a little bit like disappointed by the weather, and looking out and seeing these kids jumping in puddles, having the absolute time of their lives. And I was like, you know what? It's all good.
Yeah, it was great. No, It's All Good is a different music festival.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. That was a shindy. Anyhow, so we had that, and then I got to attend Healing Appalachia this year, and that, well, again, Alabaster Boxer played the opening night. Got to see amazing shows from Sierra Farrell. My goodness.
You got to meet Sierra
I
Farrell
got to
and
hang
give
out with
her
her.
award.
And
Yeah.
Sierra Hull, who actually played that same night as Sierra Farrell. Sierra Hull is an amazing fiddle player. She was incredible. Then Tyler Childers played. Man, it was just a fantastic 4 days of music. Mind-blowing experience getting to see all of these different bands on this stage, and all raising money for an amazing cause. We love our friends at Healing Appalachia. Shout out to those guys and what they're doing to try and give support to all the organizations that are helping to fight the opioid epidemic in Appalachia. So kudos to those guys. Big props to the people at Whiz Bang Bam. What an amazing organization, and just really truly trying to help change things and change the culture in not just West Virginia but Appalachia as a whole.
Yeah.
So what a just moving experience for me.
And just prior to that, to back up slightly, we had our first filming day of Stomping Grounds.
Yeah, we had
which was a very busy, but a very fun day.
And another great partnership that came out of that was with our friends.
Every single one of them was just delightful to work with.
Yeah, Mountain Craft is the company that actually produces our Stomping Grounds concert series.
Yeah.
And we absolutely love those guys. Ben, and I'm not going to name everybody because there's a good bit of them, but that Ben is the head of that company, and
Aaron, who is the sound guy, just did a phenomenal job.
Yeah,
on
the
sound
mix, the
editing.
audio.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
So that's the thing that when we set out to do this, I wanted it. The audio had to be just top notch, because you can have great video,
Right.
but if the audio doesn't showcase these bands the way they need to be showcased,
It really needed to be the
it's
priority.
pointless.
Yeah.
And too many artists, I'm going to jump on a soapbox. Too many artists take this opportunity to be seen, but they don't realize
And not heard.
but not heard.
Yeah.
You're not being heard the way you should be heard.
Right. And I might blame TikTok a little bit for that. You know, I think, and I'm not dissing TikTok. I do think it is a very useful tool, but I think sometimes people just jump on and they don't really consider the sound quality.
Yeah, and it devalues the product, and we don't want artists to devalue their art. So we really wanted to give artists an opportunity to be heard in a way that showcases who they are visually, but also allows them to have amazing audio. And we are so confident in this audio that you can now actually stream these artists on different streaming services, those tracks that we recorded. It will be putting those out and making sure that you actually have the opportunity to grab that audio from those shows or from those recordings. So yeah, check that out. And thanks again to our friends at Mountain Craft. And we mentioned this before in our last episode, but thanks to our sponsors of that concert. Sorry, I keep calling it a concert series. That's not a concert series. Our video series, the Stomping Ground series, Stone Tower. So thank you to those guys. So that was a cool highlight. And now. Let's see, that got us up to the fall. Mm-hmm. And in the fall, we had another Born and Bred concert series, this time featuring the Moon My Twin, Kindred Valley, and Alabaster Boxer.
And that was a great show.
Gosh, what a show. I don't think people knew what to expect with the Moon My Twin.
Yeah.
And
But I think a lot of people were blown away.
Oh my gosh, yeah, the crowd, it was incredible because the
I
crowds.
think mesmerizing is a good word.
Yeah, that's a great word. The crowds that come to the Born and Bred concert series are very diverse.
Yeah.
You've got
We have a lot of regulars, too.
And you've got a wide age range of people who are there.
Yeah.
And so you never know what's going to happen when you
Yes.
put a rock band that's like, I mean, a legit, like, I think the word esoteric rock band that is kind of hard to define on a stage like that. And the crowd, I'm sitting off to the side watching this.
Yeah.
And everybody in that room was just, like you said, just, they were enchanted.
Yeah.
They were like
zoned
just
in.
100% focused on what was happening on that stage. And kudos to those three for putting on an amazing show. And then that rolled into Kindred Valley. That was my first time hearing Kindred Valley live.
Same.
And
That was fun.
they were fantastic. Great harmonies. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
beautiful
like
harmonies.
vocal harmonies. That's one of the things that, I look for to see how people are doing with that kind of thing. And they killed it. And then, of course, once again, Alabaster Boxer, and they put on a heck of a show. Oh, wait, I forgot.
Did you really forget, or are you
No.
being coy?
Well, I mean, I kind of forgot that this would come up in this conversation.
Yeah.
That was a highlight for you.
It was, yeah.
Because what did you get to do?
I got to sing with Alabaster Boxer.
Yeah, so
and
from
it was,
going back to meeting them in January.
all the way to singing with them.
And singing them.
And so
singing
that
with
was
them.
my first time performing at the Robinson Grand. It was,
Oh, yeah.
You've performed there,
Yeah.
but I hadn't. So that was, and I was getting over like a 2-month cold. So that was simultaneously thrilling and nerve-wracking. But it went really well, and I was really happy with that experience.
Yeah, and
it was great.
That was a very. You killed it. I'm just going to be straight up.
Thank you.
You guys sounded amazing together. You
Hey,
and
well,
Nick.
so that was an interesting thing,
You
yeah,
were both
because, for example, you and I, Brendan, don't always land in the same place if we try to harmonize
Mm-hmm.
together. I think we've tried, and it doesn't. Now, if it's a song we both know really well, like your song "Home," any of your songs, I think it works. But if we do it spontaneously,
Yeah.
it doesn't always work. You end up trying to follow my harmony, and I'm like,
yeah.
no, you stay on the melody. So, and then there are just some voices that blend well together and some voices that don't necessarily blend well together. And Nick and I had never sung together.
Nope.
He heard Crazy Train and asked if I would do it. And I said, sure. And the first time we sang together was in soundcheck. And I remember literally approaching the mic and being like, we don't even know if this is going to sound good, like together.
And it was amazing.
And it did. It sounded great. Yeah.
No, it wasn't great. It was amazing. You guys absolutely killed that. So, and then, gosh, what happened after that? Anything?
The rest was a blur.
Yeah, it really honestly has been a blur since then. We've been steadily streaming and putting out those concerts, the Stomping Grounds videos.
Yeah, I
those that
mean,
we've had a
Stomping
great
Grounds in general
response.
has just been a highlight of the year.
We've
I
had
think.
a great response to those, and thank you to everybody who has shared those and watched those. We have more of those coming very, very soon.
Mm-hmm.
We actually are going to be starting recording of season 2 of that, and we have a lot of things in the works that
Another thing
we're
that we
excited
did
to
this
see.
year that we haven't talked about? Start a podcast.
Oh, did we?
I think so. Didn't it start this year?
Yeah,
we didn't start last year.
We have a
did
podcast.
Yep.
Oh wow! I just thought we were just talking. You recorded this. That's cool. So yeah, we started this podcast this year, and that's been a lot of fun for us. Gosh, I don't know when we started those.
I don't either. I'm actually going back to look right now.
Was it this summer?
It was April.
April.
Oh, you know what? We for the first birthday of Born and Bred, we launched the
That's
podcast.
right.
Yeah,
That's
that's
right.
it. That's it.
And that's probably when we'll be coming. No, we'll be back for season
I think we'll
3
be back
before then.
before that. Yeah. I'd
Yeah.
say so.
So anyhow, well, that's a little bit of a recap from our 2024. We met a lot of great people. We had a lot of great experiences. And we've gotten to cover a ton of music. And there's been so much good music. Oh, we're talking about our highlights, but let's talk about some highlights for some other folks. Just to talk about how cool things are for West Virginia. I mean, Sierra Farrell won major awards this year.
Yeah.
Charles Wesley Godwin and she both were all
They're just
over late night talk shows, morning talk shows. Like
Yeah.
they got to perform all over the place.
Jimmy
Christian
Kimmel, right?
Lopez, Christian Lopez got to do the Grand Ole Opry. Philip Bowen has had a killer year of getting to do some amazing things, amazing shows, amazing opportunities.
Yeah.
Giossi put out a live album this year, and he's got a great thing going for him. He's got touring in Europe, and he's got a good career over there. There's just been so. Brad Paisley put out an amazing EP called "Son of the Mountains."
Yeah, really
and he
good.
did a great job with one of those songs of highlighting the opioid epidemic here in the West Virginia area and the Appalachia as a whole.
And what's so impressive about that is, when Brad Paisley was first on my radar, a lot of his songs were kind of satirical, like, the fishing song and
Checking
Celebrity.
ticks and all that kind of stuff, yeah.
So whereas these ones are so much more, somber.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's not a negative. It's more
No.
just to say, like, it was sort of interesting to see the emotional range that he has.
And he does. He's a very, very diverse artist.
Yeah.
And then the Davison Brothers went out on the road with Oliver Anthony, which was very cool for
That's a
them.
big deal. Yeah.
There's just been a lot. This is why Born and Bred exists.
Yeah, a lot of good things happening.
Because there's so much good happening in this state. And that's just, Brett Madison was on the road with Frey.
That's awesome.
My gosh, like you just think about all of these things these artists are getting to do. So not only have we had a good 2024, but we feel like West Virginia musicians had a good 2024.
Yeah,
and
agreed.
it just seems like there's a lot of momentum, and we just want to keep that ball rolling. So anyhow, we have a special guest today.
We have a very special guest today,
And
who needs no introduction.
but you might as well.
Okay.
You're going to be interviewing this guest?
I guess so. I guess that's
Okay.
how that's going to go.
All right. Go ahead.
All right, come one, come all, be prepared. Today in the Born and Bred studio, we would like to welcome Brendan Gallagher
What?
of last year's model.
Oh, I am in a band. That's
You
right.
are in a band, yeah. And every now and then we'll give your band a little plug. In fact, our intro and outro music is a song of yours. Which song is it?
Is it Heartbeat?
I think it's Heartbeat.
Yeah.
So anyway, welcome, Brendan, to the Born and Bred podcast.
Well, thank you so much for having me,
We're so
Maria.
happy to have you here.
I am so excited to be
What
here.
an honor.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, enough of this silliness.
Oh.
So the reason we decided to interview Brendan today is because on April 11th, 2025, our next Born and Bred concert series is happening at the Robinson Grand. It is headlined by The Argument, who will be reuniting after 19 years,
so good.
just shy of 20, right?
Yeah.
Just shy of 20 years. They'll be reuniting for the Born and Bred concert series, and opening for them will be last year's model.
What?
Now, you have played the Born and Bred concert series before, yes?
We played the very first
show.
one at the Robinson Grand.
Yes, alongside whom?
Nick Davison and the New Relics.
Yeah, great. And that was a great show. That was fun.
Yeah.
So now you're coming back to the Born and Bred concert series, opening for The Argument. Tell us a little bit about what's going on with last year's model. I know you've taken a little bit of a hiatus lately, but you've gotten back into writing, if we're allowed to talk about
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
So tell us what to expect from this upcoming show, because I think a lot of people who have seen a lot of last year's model are very familiar with the set.
Yep.
So tell us how this one's going to differ, what we can expect, what we should get excited about.
Yeah, so we actually are in the middle of recording a 4-song EP, and we will be performing those 4 songs as part of that show.
Great.
I have some lyrics to write. And
Okay.
I need some inspiration, but I will have them ready before that show. One of those songs is done, and we're excited about that one. That we've actually performed that one here and there, but we.
And which one is that? Will you tell us? Or
Yeah, it's called Old Days.
Yep.
And that we've performed it, but we actually reworked it so that it's more
refined it a little.
Yeah, and oh my gosh, I'm so excited about how it sounds. And we're actually going to release that song first, and then the other 4 songs, the other 3 songs will all be out before, fingers crossed, before that show.
that's
so people,
ambitious.
so people will get a chance to actually hear some new music from us and
That's
see
exciting.
it performed for the first time.
Yeah.
But then out of that show, we're opening. But we've become good friends with a guy named Scott Simons.
Yeah.
Who, that's another 2024 highlight. if we were still talking about me from Born and Bred. Scott has become a good friend of Born and Bred, and he's an amazing talent. A lot of people know him in the Bridgeport and Morgantown area from The Argument, but a lot of people don't know that he went on from there to record and sing the Paw Patrol theme song. He's a music coordinator, I believe. Whatever. He plays music and helps do with arrangements on America's Got Talent. And so this is the first time The Argument has gotten back together, and I was very passionate about making this happen.
Yeah.
And when the idea first popped into my head, Scott actually asked me, do you think anybody actually wants to come see this show? And the day we put up the tickets, they started moving like crazy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think, we sold a lot of tickets. I don't know the number, but we sold a lot of tickets just day one.
Yeah. And so we are very excited to play this show with those guys. And, last year's model has had to take a little bit of a break due to just some personal issues. Some of the band members were family health situations, essentially.
Artistic differences.
No. But we needed a break. We were going pretty heavy for a while.
Yeah, you were.
And so we took some time off, and we're excited to get back to it.
That's great. Well, we're very excited. I've gotten a sampling, I think, of some of these new songs, but obviously haven't heard them in completion. So I am really excited to hear that. So we can expect 4 new songs from last year's model in April, as well as a few favorites.
Oh yeah, we're gonna rework our set list. Obviously, can't play everything we normally play because we're playing. With adding 4 new in, somebody's got to go, and so I don't know who is going yet, but 4 going to make room for these 4.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, I'm kind of nervous about that. That's
okay,
that's like deciding these children can't come to Christmas.
Right. Yeah. That's all right though. That's really exciting. So that's Friday, April 11th at 7:30 at the Robinson Grand Performing Arts Center. You can get your tickets at therobinsongrand.com. What else would you like to tell us about what's going on with last year's model? Anything else you're expecting for 2025? I know it's not as busy because of the the family schedules and stuff, but do you have any other events coming up?
Well, we be playing. One of our favorite things is this show we do every year called Rusk. It's a big race that happens up at Spruce Knob, and we love playing that. We also will be playing for the very first time West Virginia. It's called WV Pub Fest.
Excellent. Down
in Coolidge, West Virginia, and once again, in conjunction with our friends Alabaster Boxer.
Yes, always.
They actually, a couple of guys in that band spearhead this effort, and it's a fundraiser, and we're really excited to go play that.
That's cool. And then anything else you want to keep a secret, or anything else you'd like to tease? And I'm thinking of something specific.
Oh, yeah. We are going to be performing as one of the artists on the next Stomping Grounds season. Yeah. So, and we'll be doing 2 of those.
2 of the new songs.
2 of those new songs. So, yeah.
So we'll have 2 new recordings plus 2 live recordings at some point.
I'm not convinced yet that it's going to be 2 new recordings. It could be 1 older one.
1 old one and 1
new one.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
That's like what Jamie Lester did on his.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Yeah, you just made me happy thinking about his version of Forever Lost.
While we're talking about it, everybody should go to our YouTube right now after this episode ends and go watch all the Stomping Grounds videos.
Yeah, gosh, they're all so good.
They're great.
So anyhow, but yeah, that's what's going on with us.
Great. Well, very excited. So please join us April 11th. Please don't miss that show. It's going to be a great time. Get your tickets now because they are selling quicker than probably any Born and Bred concert thus far. What else? How would you like to close this out?
Well, thanks again to Brendan Gallagher for joining us on the Born and Bred podcast. Make sure to check out last year's model and everything else they're working on. And thank you guys so much for checking out our episode today.
All right, so let's do it right. So they can visit lastyearsmodel.band is your website and your socials.
Yeah, everything's Last Year's Model music. If you just find Last Year's Model, you're going to find us. It's Last Year's Model Band on Instagram. But yeah, we're pretty easy to find everywhere you go. So, and if you just go to our website, that will direct you to
all
all
the
of
things.
that as well.
Yeah, and that again is last year's model.band,
Yes.
not .com.
So thanks again for having that conversation with me. And
Thank you so much for gracing your presence. Gracing our presence? What's the expression?
gracing us with
Gracing
yours.
us with your presence at the Born and Bred studio here today. Taking time out of your busy, busy day to be with us.
Yeah, I mean,
Wowee.
I've got diva things to go do.
Yeah, golly.
So yeah.
I mean, aren't we just...
Anyhow,
flabbergasted?
thanks so much for checking out the Born and Bred podcast.
This is why I don't do the interviews.
And thank you again to our sponsor, the Robinson Grand. And thank you for checking out season 2. And stay tuned, and we will be announcing season 3 very soon. We will see you next time.